Thank you for clicking onto this link, child of God. My name is Paul Williams of Kingdom Time Ministries, and I need just 5 minutes of your time in exchange for 5 minutes of kingdom wisdom, which I believe can help us navigate through this life more effectively. And we all need some help steering. We all need some help navigating through all the confusion, the chaos that's always surrounding us. But Jesus, our King, said, "Those that know my voice will follow me, will know the truth. And that truth that you know will make you free. It'll make you free because you'll know the difference between religion and the kingdom." We want you to understand that there is a big difference between the kingdom of God and religion. But here today, we're going to be talking about Jesus as King. Who is Jesus? Jesus is King. We have believed that he was a religious figure. He was a prophet. And those things are true. He was a prophet, but his purpose and everything was designed and told to us by him, by our King. And somehow we have let that slip. Even in, let's go through to Matthew 4:23. It says, "And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogue and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people." Jesus went about teaching and healing. Teaching and healing. What was he teaching? The kingdom of God. What was he preaching? The kingdom of God. And so this ministry teaches the gospel that Jesus preached. Now let's look at Matthew 2 for a second. It's important because you want to know from the beginning what was declared about Jesus. We know his name would be Emmanuel, God amongst us. We know that. But let's look at chapter 2 of Matthew, verse 1. "Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, and in those days of King Herod the king," underline that or somehow put quotations around that, there was already a king in the environment, in the territory, in the state. "And behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and we come to worship him. And when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him." Who was troubled? The king, and all Jerusalem with him. Why? Because here comes a guy who is born king. He's going to be born king, and he's already here. And who else do you know have a star from heaven guiding them, guiding you right to him? In verse 4 it says, "And when they had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded," talking about Herod, "he demanded of them where Christ, the anointed king, should be born." This lets you know the word Christ is associated with kingship, not just the anointed one, because a one could be anything. But he is born king. Now look at verse 1 one more time. "Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east of Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews?" So I'm making my declaration here. Jesus was born king. Jesus is born king. So when he grew up, he was a little king, being trained and raised by God into his kingdom. There is no such thing as a king that does not have a kingdom. And Jesus filled his mouth with all that he wanted to tell them about his kingdom. In Matthew 9:35, "And Jesus went about all the cities of the villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every sickness and every disease amongst the people." My name is Paul Williams of Kingdom Time Ministries.org.